Hey there, HopeQuest family. Troy and Melissa here, and it's another episode of Hope for Today, where Melissa and I try to come to you and authentically share from our life, from our hearts, from our marriage. And we do that because we want to see you and your heart and your life be filled with hope for today. So Melissa, today I wanted to talk about something that it's another area of huge difference for you and I. She and I are different in a lot of ways. We're a great team, but we've got some pretty stark differences. And one of those is you would call yourself eternally optimistic.
Absolutely.
And you would call me
pessimistic.
Pessimistic.
Sure.
I do not accept that mantle. I tend to call myself realistic. But, you know, I'll admit, I tend towards the negative side at times, especially when I'm having a bad week or I'm struggling with difficult or uncomfortable emotions. And what I wanted to talk about this week is this kind of trap we fall into. And we together, I say we, because I know you do as well, we fall in this trap. And so, for example, 2020 has been a rough year. And it's really hard not to think, oh no, when's the next shoe gonna drop? Oh no, when's the next bad thing? Oh no, when's the next bunch of bad news? And then I found myself recently, you know, there was a part of me that was like looking forward to August because August was gonna be like the end of the summer and the end of coronavirus and everything would go back to normal, and things have not gone back to normal, and they're still just as crazy as they've ever been. And so then I found myself thinking, well, you know what? If we can just hang on till next year, 2021. And I found myself saying these words, Melissa, it can't be any worse. But then this fear comes up in me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't say that because it could be worse. And that negativity and that looking for the next shoe to drop really has an impact on my soul and my heart and my perspective. How do you see that playing itself out in my life?
Well, I think once you get your mind set on anything, I mean, it's the nature of the human condition, right? Whatever we set our minds on and our eyes towards is our emotions quickly follow that, right? So that's why Jesus says, you know, what your treasure is where your heart will be. And it's the same thing. It works for worry. It works for depression. Any of those things that we are really focused on is what our emotions will follow.
So what I hear you saying is, if I'm struggling with depression, if I'm not careful, I'm going to look around me and I'm going to see more depressing things. If I'm feeling anxious, if I'm not careful, I'm going to look around me and I'm going to see more reasons to be anxious.
Absolutely.
And so those negative things, those difficult things, if I'm looking for them, I will find them.
Absolutely.
So what is the solution here, sweetheart?
Well, I mean, we could say it in a very small, kind of maybe trite way, which is one small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. But I think the Bible has a lot to say about this. And, you know, when I think about where I want my heart to be, where I want my emotions to follow, then it makes sense that at some point I have a choice on what I focus on and what I give airtime to in my heart and my mind.
Right. Here's a funny story. You know, okay, Aaron went and bought a new vehicle, a new truck. And when Rachel got her new vehicle a few years ago, I didn't know what a Buick Encore looked like. I didn't know what a small Ford Ranger pickup truck looked like. The next thing you know, Rachel buys her Buick Encore, and then I see 10,000 Buick Encores.
All right, driving.
Are there more Buick Encores now than there were before Rachel bought them?
No.
But my focus and thoughts now, I'm now looking for and more open to seeing Buick Encores.
Absolutely.
And the same thing happens with spiritual things and emotional things. What we look for, what we expect is unfortunately what we're going to find. So if we're looking for positive things, if we're looking for reasons to be hopeful, if we're looking for God to show himself in the midst of our day or in the midst of a challenging situation, that's what we're going to find. But if we're looking for something negative, we're going to find something negative. And Melissa, for me, the other day I had so some really positive things have happened. The house is almost full. We're going to have a record week this week of admissions. September is going to be the best month in admissions we've had all year long at Trek. And yet there's some really negative things that have happened, and I've found myself just, being sucked into that negative vortex and being sucked into, Troy, it doesn't matter how many good things are going to happen. There's always going to be something bad, and it's going to be bigger, badder than the gooder thing that's out there. So I had an interaction with someone that was less than encouraging, and I felt discouraged. I felt dismissed. I felt unheard. I felt judged. I felt a lot of heavy emotions, and I walked out of there, and when I feel those things, let's see how well she knows me. This is not rehearsed. When I feel those kinds of emotions, what tends to be my reaction?
Hopelessness.
Okay.
And shut down, and then it's all bad.
Right.
It goes to an all bad place.
Okay. And then if I don't go that direction, where am I going to go?
Well, there's multiple choice points here, honey.
Right.
You could bow up and say, basically, screw them, I don't care,
I'm going to win.
True.
I'm going to win.
Or you're going to try to.
That's correct. So here's the thing: all of these emotions, all this stuff going on, and I'm vacillating between. All right, I'm gonna win this fight, or it's all hopeless. I just need to give up right here and right now. And God comes to me, and God speaks to me His words, and this is what I found in the Bible that very evening. Moses says this in Exodus chapter 14: "Don't be afraid. Just stand still and watch the Lord rescue you today. The Egyptians will see you. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. The Lord Himself will fight for you. Just stay calm." In the midst of needing a word from God, guess what I got?
A word from God.
I got a word from God. God came and spoke to me. So, Melissa, when you're in that position, how does God normally come, or what's been the most encouraging thing that's helped you focus on what God's up to instead of circumstances?
Well, part of the reason why I am an optimist is because it's if you turn your eyes to look around you to see what God is doing, you will always find Him at work somewhere.
It's true.
And one of the joys of doing what I do is I get to sit across from people every day who are working through their problems, but also giving God opportunity to work in their lives. And there is nothing more joyful and gratifying and life-giving and encouraging to me than watching someone take a journey and grow up in Jesus and learn to depend on Him and be more calm. Right. And that really encourages me, because if I look outside of myself, because it's easy to get focused on, I'm anxious, this isn't going well, but if I look outside of myself to what God is doing around me, then it gives me hope. Yes, God is still on the throne. Yes, He's working. Yes, He's doing incredible things. And it doesn't really matter what all the other circumstances are. If my focus is on that and Him, then my soul lightens up, right? And light fills my heart. And I don't have to worry about all of the other things. Right. Everything fades. So
what you're saying is, instead of going to this kind of woe is me place, you're able to look out and see God at work in the lives of other people,
Absolutely.
God using you in the lives of other people. And as you see God do that, it encourages you and speaks to you and helps you realize this is your purpose. There's purpose in your pain. There's purpose in your story. There's purpose in your past. I love that, and I love that about you. You're a very selfless person, and I'm grateful for that. For me, I think the biggest thing is I can easily get overwhelmed in my emotions, and I can easily begin to look out for negative things. And again, if you look for negative things, guess what you're going to find? Negative things. And so for me, if I'll just simply listen to God, give Him a chance, crack open my Bible, turn on Pandora praise music, whatever, if I'll just give God a chance, He always speaks. And just in the last less than 2 weeks, God has come to me, and God has spoken the words of Matthew 11. Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy, have heavy burdens. Come and I will give you rest. God's reminded me of Lamentations, one of my favorite verses of Scripture, where He says, every morning His mercies are new. God spoke to me and said, don't worry, the Lord Himself will fight for you, Troy. just stay calm. And then just today, God came to me. And again, I've got some important meetings. There's some big stuff going on, some exciting, important, life-changing stuff going on. And I feel inadequate. I feel overwhelmed. And God comes to me and in the words of Paul in Philippians says, Troy, God is working in you. God is giving you the desire and the power to do what pleases him and to recognize and realize that God's at work in me. I don't have to do it. God will do it if I will just allow him. God will speak to me if I'll just listen. So we just want to encourage you. You're going to find what you're looking for. So look for encouraging words from God. Look for God's presence. Look for God's work around you. I promise you this. God is at work, even in the midst of COVID pandemics and all the other crazy stuff that's going on in our world today. God is at work. And if we'll take our eyes off of all of the other things that tend to suck us in and cause us distress, we will see God at work, and God will specifically come and he will speak to you and he will encourage you and he will use you. Any last words, sweetheart?
One small thought, one small positive thought can change your whole day.
I love that. I love that. We're grateful for you. Please, below, if you would subscribe. If you've not subscribed to this channel, click that subscribe button. Click the like button. Please, please, please share this video with others. Share it via YouTube. Share it via email. Share it via social media. But share this video. We want to encourage you. We want you to be looking for God because God wants to give you hope for today. We love you. We're grateful for you. And we will see you next week.